Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles of the Bust number 167, and today we're going to be doing battle in the Gauntlet. And so, if you're wanting to skip ahead to the gameplay, today we're going to be playing Nudyr, RNG Ramp, and we're going to play Trundle Timelines. And if you're wanting to stick around with us here for a little bit, we'll talk about those decks a little bit more. And so, as I say at the beginning of all of my Gauntlet videos, I won't be getting in-depth with any of these deck lists. I'll talk about some of the oddities and changes that we're bringing, but if you're looking for an in-depth gameplay guide, you should be able to scroll backwards through the channel, and all of these will be covered. The exception there will be Nudyr. We will be covering him in tomorrow's video. And so, again, today we're going to be bringing a triple Freylord lineup. As we played Gauntlet this week and throughout the past week of our climb up into Masters, it's one of these deals as to where the format is getting, kind of polarized, right? As to where you're either playing something like Pirates or you're playing something on the more control-y end of the spectrum. The big one right now being Nora Heimerdinger as the big option there. And I think you just have to kind of pick one to build your deck towards, right? I don't really like being in the middle to where we're kind of good against Pirates, we're kind of good against the Nora decks, and then we're just kind of shitty against everything, right? I like to whole-ass one thing and not half-ass anything. And so the idea with our lineup today is I'm not, just giving up on the aggro end of the spectrum. I just plan to ban Pirates, or I should say, I plan to ban the Misfortune deck. So if Pirates turns up, we'll ban it. If Scouts turns up, we'll ban it. The next one after that would be Poppy Terric. If the Demacia rally-based decks are turning up, that is where our ban is going to go. But ideally, more so towards the Misfortune end of the spectrum. That is the Pirates matchup is a nightmare for the ramp deck. We can still win, but it's most certainly not a good matchup. And then there is a lot of raw power in Nudyr. That's what we're calling Gnar and Udyr, right? You take the N from Gnar and then the Udyr, and it lines up exactly with the Lil Nas X skin for Udyr. And so it has a lot of mid-game punch to it, but it does get snowballed on by the likes of the Misfortune Scoutsy kind of decks. And so we're looking to just ban that out. And then ideally be strong against the mid-rangey and the control offerings. And so to bring up each of these deck lists, first and foremost, we have Nudyr. This is something we brought forth in the previous video in our triple rally lineup. I have made a few edits to the deck since then. I felt like we weren't really playing enough 2-drops, so I moved in 2 copies of Ruthless Raider. I wasn't exceptionally happy with Ranger's Resolve, so I cut out 1 copy of it, and then I added in 2 copies of Inner Beast, so that we would have something that could just help us attack up. I ran into a lot of spots to where I was just 1 damage short, and you can't attack up in combat with Troll Chance and Ranger's Resolve, so I brought in the couple of Inner Beasts, and then we ended up taking out 1 Ranger's Resolve, 1 Troll Chant, the 2 copies of the Give a Tough +1 health girl, the 3-drop for the 2 copies of Ruthless Raider, 1 copy, or the 2 copies of Inner Beast. So otherwise, Nudyr is looking the same. Again, we brought that together in the previous video. We'll also feature this in our next one. Zoe Aurelian Soul, Mount Targon Ramp. I like to call this RNG Ramp. This is the exact same list we used to hit Masters with. We put a couple of videos together with this earlier in the week, and I'm quite happy with where the list stands these days. I like having the full unit package, playing the full collection of She Who Wanders and It That Stares, as we're in a format that has a lot of denies and a lot of Rite of Negations. Yes, I understand that you can counterspell the AoE effect from those units, but you still have a unit on the board, right? If we're out here playing Buried in the Ice, or if we're playing Feel the Rush and our opponent has the counterspell, we're just completely blanked out of all of that mana. And so I feel like it's fairly important to have the full collection of expensive bros. And again, you can take this and tool it a little bit heavier towards Pirates. I don't think that's worthwhile. You're never going to have a good matchup against Pirates. It should list itself over here on the right. Looks like Scouts is a 70-30 favorite. Pirates is like a 65 or a 65-35 favorite. You're not going to get that up to like 50-50 just by putting in more AoEs and more heal. And so we're just looking to ban those. Then the last one we're bringing is Trundle Timelines. This is a deck that can hold its own against the likes of the various scout decks, but I figure what's going to happen is if our opponent is trying to play like a triple scout deck or a heavy rally deck, they'll just ban this one. And so I don't think we'll get the opportunity to use this in the matchups where it matters. And so I don't really want to, again, slant this towards the early game. And so if you're ignoring the early game, that is where you'll find your usage of 3 copies of Aloof Travelers. Very strong in terms of smoking vengeances out of your opponent's deck, or against the likes of the Nasus deck, smoking atrocities out of them. And so a very nice value play coming out of Trundle Caitlyn, and then we're also coming up with the Revnas and the like. And so you can take this one and, again, add in a bunch of Mystic Shots and early game removal spells, or you can just ban Pirates. We're going for the ban Pirates mode today. And so that is our deck list. We're going full Freylord. We got our Timelines deck. We got first I Freylord, then I Rally. Last but not least, we have RNG Ramp. Feeling good about it. Very icy today. Got the cold blood flowing through our veins. Feeling good. And all right, here's a Pirates ban coming up against a actual real lineup in our first round of Gauntlet. Who to thunk it? But I don't feel like Kai'Sa is very good in the current format, and the Sejuani Gangplank deck is strong, but I don't think it's like super strong. Pirates is just a super easy ban coming out of this guy's lineup. He doesn't want to play against Mount Targon. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. And then we'll start off with Nudyr. Okay. Rally on rally matchups. Let's see who can come out on top. So, nice early game start. Would like to pick up a little bit of interactivity if we can, but otherwise we'll just hang on to all the units. I don't feel like I'm really excited about mulliganing away a Vulpine Wanderer. And so in this situation, it's slightly awkward, right? He's presented us with the one drop Voidling. I don't really want to trade Fleet Feather Trackers with it, and so I'm just going to pass. I feel like we might be able to cycle around to our next attack step and take down the Voidling with the bonus health from the Durandi Sculptor. Double bonus in us now picking up the Troll Chant. And so you can go for a less aggressive route here and lead out with the Durandi Sculptor, but if they don't have the Broadwing, there's just literally nothing in their deck that can interact with the Ruthless Raider, and then we do have good combats against the Voidling out here. Downside to battling the Broadwings is Troll Chant doesn't do much in the face of a formidable attack. So I think we just have to stop right here. We'll let him do whatever he wants to in combat. If we overbank 2 mana, it's not that big of a deal here. So not feeling terrible about it. All right, here comes the bird. Get the Vulpine Wanderer down so I feel good about attacking with everyone. And we'll get this combat started.
You wasters came a long way for a whoopin'.
Hang on. I mean, I wish we had a better pivot with our stance swap, but it sucks so much running Troll Chants into this board. Right, we send everyone in. We can -2 attack the Void Blaster and then boost the health on whatever the Broadwing's in front of. I mean, I guess that's fine. Just, we don't win either of these combats, and it feels pretty terrible.
This is my turf.
All right. 1 unit on 1 unit. It's not horrible, I guess, but we would prefer to have a little bit better of a board.
I can almost take it. The void.
Kai'Sa comes in. Oh boy, he's already fucking evolved? Are you serious? Ah, Jesus. So we don't currently have an answer to Kai'Sa. How bad is this going to get? She's going to catch Overwhelm. Can't get any of our cards on board fast enough, but we can hit her with a Concerted Strike if we survive the turn, and then the The Ruthless Raider is good in the face of the Acacian Rain since it soaks up all of that damage, but I think we're going to have to just put units on the board before it comes to that.
Show them where their spells can help.
It's like, I want to drop the Golden Aegis on the Ruthless Raider, it just doesn't do anything. Okay.
Hit and move. There's nowhere to hide.
Alright, this is unfortunate, but we're never winning this game if we lose our Ruthless Raider. I forgot that it had Vulnerable. So, we did just get rid of all of our ways to answer Kaisa, but, I mean, we're just going to have to pick up something strong here to try and get out of this one. We're not really developed to handle this amount of Kaisa. The turn 5 flip is pretty tough to deal with. Okay. GG. Alright, Nudyr. The Freylord on Freylord battle coming up, though. We are the true Freylord deck, though. This isn't really a Freylord deck coming out of this. This is a full-on Bilgewater deck with 3 Sejuanis in it. So I think the power of the snows are going to be with us, and we'll be able to overcome the fake intruder over here. Fake news Ronnie is what they like to call him. Coming for you, fake news Ronnie. Alright, so do we want to play this Omen Hawk on the first turn? I don't think so. I'm leaning more towards getting the Durandi Sculptor down, but this is fairly important to stop their plunders. And so I think we're just kind of stuck giving up the unit and preventing the damage. Just whatever we can do to keep that 5 Nexus hits from coming through.
I sculpt what others only
He shouldn't be able to handle the Sculptor. Now, if he plays something like Mirai Ward and is able to attack around us, there's not a lot we can do about it. This is okay. We're going to have like the real decision next turn in that if he open attacks, are we willing to block with the Durandi Sculptor? And it's tough. I think we're stuck. Like, just make him play another card that can win the combat. Or I'm sorry, deal the damage. Hit us to the old Nexus. Okay. And now it's Gnar. He shouldn't be able to interact with Gnar particularly well. The big one would be a Riptide Sermon, and him having like the full 7 mana going into turn 4 really feels like we're about to get smoked by a Riptide Sermon. And so I'm going to lead out with this Vulpine Wanderer, see if he spends any mana, and if he doesn't, I'm just going to swing for 5 and then play a card afterwards. This is completely fine, though. Kind of leaning towards going big with the Broadwing. He shouldn't be able to interact with it well. Like, this deck deals 1 damage well, it doesn't deal 2 damage well. So if we have this big Broadwing running around and getting challenges every turn, makes me feel a little safer about building up into Udyr and into Gnar. Hitting that 1 health on Udyr is quite important as well, right? You can't Riptide Sermon Udyr down from 5 health.
Our ancient enemies are returning.
Then, young fox, lead us to their heart.
Okay.
This land is ours.
Got it. Nice. So I'm looking towards like Cythria here. It feels kind of sketchy though, right? I'm feeling a little bit better about just either deploying 3 units or a unit or 2 units plus a stance swap. Like getting a second Broadwing that has the what do you call it? The regenerate stance on it's going to be quite strong. Good job. Well done, Nudyr and friends. Gathering victory, you say? I am the true Freylord deck. All right, battle number 3. Get these timelines out here. All right, little scarier. Kind of the same deal as the last one. We would really like to be able to come out and prevent some turn 1 damage. It's not very easy for our deck to do, though, right? So I think I'm just going to take this hand and full mulligan. Look for the timelines because we didn't find one here. Opponent took a full mulligan as well. Finds the butcher. Sad. Fake news Ronnie found in the butchers. Kind of unfortunate. We can't stop enough of this. Let's still save the combat trick for next turn, or the mystic shot for next turn, but a little slower than I would like here. I would assume that this is going to be an open. Interesting. Whoa. That's some width. At least he hit the zero attack unit. So what are we taking here? 5? Little scary, not gonna lie. Now the downside to having 1 health on the Tavern Keepers, they have a lot of Make It Rains and Parlay kind of cards that will abuse you for just having the 1 health on board. But Timelines turns up, better late than never. So many Mirai Wardens, LOL. Hit more of those. So we're gonna pick up Fearsome. I think we just take the Vagabond out of these and go for the stats. I don't really want to hit any of these units with Challenger at the moment. There's the Make It Rain. It's pretty tempting to just go ahead and drop this Troll Chant. I want to protect the unit. And he's down to 2 cards in hand. So he's going to need to be dropping a Gangplank next turn to really try and take advantage of this. And the Loofs are great here, right? We can use this to cycle away the opposing champions. It's a very good chance this Aloof gets to pop a Sejuani. Okay, we can pick up the Elusive out of these. Or have we played a 6? I don't quite remember. We have not. Oops. Still okay. Picking up a Reggie, huh? It's a nice way to steal a win. Still doesn't have a Fearsome blocker on the board. I'm leaning towards Revna. I could see adding like one of these smaller units so we would have access to more Get Excited mana, but I think this is fine. Revna into Revna. Is that how we want to do this? So I think if we survive the next attack, we should be okay. Wow, Claw Ferocity. Dude. Dude. Well, I think we want to attack. They shouldn't have any combat tricks in their deck for this little bit of mana, but, well, this attack actually is not good, right? So say we attack with Safety Inspector, he just blocks with the Plucky Poro. He's going to be punching that damage in the next round. He's never going to be like, oh, fuck, here comes Safety Inspector. I better throw my Alpha Wild Claw in front of that, right? That's just never going to happen. And so this feels much better. Buried in the Ice can be huge next turn, assuming we have the mana to cast it. I don't think we're going to have the mana to cast it. It's like we can play Trundle. We need another like way to come in and block some of this big overwhelm damage. And I'm fine to just like drop Trundle, throw him away this turn, and then, oh shit, we're not even throwing him away, right? Because he's so big. And then we won't look to Buried in the Ice next turn. We'll just look to drop the big boy. Maybe we will get a Buried in the Ice. I mean, if this is all he's bringing, I thought that we were going to have to get excited something this round. It looks like we might just, well, we'll have access to the win. With the Sejuani on board, he has a good shot just to flash freeze everything. Right, because we're going to have to open with the pillar so that we have all of the mana. Oh, Jesus, he only has one card, though. It's too bad when seeing some of these come in. I think we just take the Terror of the Tides. Give the enemies the neg attack. That's probably not going to do anything. We'll just go with Tiana for the big stats. Say, we'll accept all of your big stats, Tiana. Alright, so he definitely has the warning shot now. I'm still going to Buried in the Ice. This will, take his dudes off the board for a while. He can warning shot right now, and then that will flash freeze our team. And so we're not going to get to chunk in for a ton of damage, but he's probably not going to get to attack next turn, and then he's going to have to do this same song and dance all over again. And sometimes you just draw your 8-drop, right? you just hit, you just hit the big stuff there. Only one copy of it that stares. Not very likely we get the AoE combo onto his deck. Alright, he plays nothing. Not a terrible chance that he has a 1 damage at this point to try and stop us a little bit. Let's go ahead and play the Static Shock, see if we can't get ourselves on a bit of a burn plan, or at least set up to cast some relevant spells next turn. So here is a True Shot Barrage for 3. We're 1 short, but we might be able to punch a little bit of extra damage in. Okay. Let's make him have it, right? We'll bring it like this. If he does have a way to kill, or if he has the way to do the flash freeze and he puts the block into Safety Inspector, I'm still okay with it, right? We'll still have Trundle and Tiana ready to block next turn. So there's a good chance he's going to get to spread like a lot of damage out across all of our units. I'm not upset about it. It's not the end of the world. And it looks like he doesn't have the flash freeze. He just has the three sisters. Takes literally 0 damage. Are you serious? I guess we don't have a ton of overwhelms here. That makes sense. But this still looks exceptionally good. He's going to have to burn us out at this point to get a win. And that's tough for this deck to do. It doesn't play like Riptide Sermons. All right, Pan of Pain. I don't know if we're gonna have heal, but if we get heal for elusive, it could be a thing. Or if we draw a landmark, we can play the safe. Oh no, we killed off our inspector. Oh, we don't have that many landmarks anyways.
I'm not greedy. My friends, though.
Uh-oh. He's bringing in the timelines now. Alright, Eye of Nagakaboros. Sure. Gotta find a way to deal a little bit more damage. Here's an impact. You're not gonna deal an impact damage though if you get frostbitten, right? That's too bad. We can though. If he doesn't block Vi, you can still give her a boost in combat, right? Even if she's maxed out? Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, these are free attacks for him, right? He's gonna have the flash freeze off of the Gangplank ability. Oh my god, this is definitely losable with Gangplank on the board.
Seize the opportunity. Stand and fight.
And he still has a warning shot in hand to get the flash freeze next turn.
You chose poorly.
Okay. We technically, this is the way everything heals, right? Though we have the regenerate for the Trundle, so he can get a little bit of thunder that way. It's not going to be enough, but he's got this warning shot for the flash freeze. There we go. So let's go ahead and take an attack in first. We can deal 1 damage with the stance swap, and then 3 with the get excited. But let's go ahead and get a combat rolling here. When you heal, I guess the heal doesn't work for the Stargazer. That's kind of stupid. It's kind of stupid. Okay. I just want him to like play some cards and shit before we start dropping the AoE. So he's taking us down to 3. Little scary. Little scary. I'll give it that. So there is a world to where like a Riptide Sermon takes us to 1, and then our Icequake doesn't, or our whatever this is called, our stance doesn't win us the game. Scary stuff, fam jam. He's got a butcher, sure. So we need 3, 6, 7, 8 to pull off those plays. So we can still play Caitlyn and see if he does anything. Give him a chance to do something. All right, let's do it all at once. Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? I clicked the wrong thing. I clicked us. I clicked us instead of him. That should have been a win. That should have been a victory. That's not the way things go. Oh, Ronnie. Fake news Ronnie. Get luckier, my dude. I've gotten so used to having, what's this called? The little heal guys coming out of the ramp deck. I totally just clicked the wrong one. Oh, fake news Ronnie. I hope you enjoyed that, man. Oh my God. We found the path to victory. We had the way to do it, and then we just hit the wrong one. Brutal. All right. Well, let's see if we can salvage our run here against Master PP. Very clever name. Oh my God, just clicking the wrong one. That's absurd. Well, I hope you all learned a lesson from us today. Don't do that. Don't do it like that, please. You want to send the get excited at your opponent's face, and so that is the better choice, the better option. Oh man. All right. Well, up against Ezreal Kennen, we have to get on board as early and fast as we can. We really want to be spending our first 8 or 9 or 10 mana all on units to try and overwhelm their game plan. He wants to be like, LOL, here's a Kennen, I'm going to return it to my hand. And then the next turn he's like, LOL, here's my Kennen again, I'm going to play a Homecoming. We want to be able to rush through that a little bit. And so I'm going to come out with the Sculptor. I know we just picked up the 3-3. The 3-3 does get around Mystic Shots, but if we have an opportunity to keep the protection up on our Sculptor and then build up to the Wanderers next turn, I'm going to be okay with that. Attacking with everything. Yes, he has the free block onto the Bright Steel, but this still punches in a couple of points of damage. If we only attack with the 2-2, then he gets to block our barriered unit with Kennen. There's also a lot of potential for recall shenanigans there, where he wants to block with the ephemeral and then recall it back. And so it's not entirely free.
We will show them where their spells can help.
Okay, now on our upcoming turn, we are going to get to drop our Nudyr, and he's going to make these stance swaps free, so then we could potentially AoE stance down any Kennens. You're not usually really excited to be dropping Udyrs in this match. It just plays into their game plan so much, right? You play Udyr and he goes, cool, I'm going to block your 5-drop no overwhelm with my 1-1 and then just send him back to your hand. But with the access to the stance swaps, we have a little bit more option in terms of how we can get some shutdowns here. So right, at least now, if he wants to protect his Kennen with a Homecoming, he has to get the slam into Udyr, and he can't necessarily block with his Kennen at that point. Like, yes, he can replay it, but he doesn't immediately get it for free. Sure.
Needs a finishing touch.
Slam in them damages, please. He needs the recall in front of Udyr now, or other stance swap's going to be free. entirely think I want to stance swap this turn. It's tough. It would be nice to try and take down the cannon, but he does get the free cannon next turn along with the dragon. And might be a little bit better of options to shut down. So our question now is we need to see how much mana he spends, what he does, because we have a lot of great options with Cytherea. Cytherea is fantastic here, assuming that she gets to attack. It's just pretty scary trying to drop Cythereas onto boards like this. Right, same deal. If we drop a Cytherea, he has a homecoming. She just gets sent right back. She does at least get around concussive palms, but recalling Little Cannon, putting 2 damage on Udyr. Alright, I think we're just going to go for units.
I sculpt what others only dream of.
Right, he's going to try and take down our Udyr here, but we have both the Troll Chant and a Stance Swap. He's going to attack. He'll get the second Mark of the Storm in his hand. How do we want to go about this? We can just go ahead and drop a Stance Swap now. That'll protect from Mark of the Storm, or we can use the Troll Chant. I'm kind of leaning towards just going ahead and playing the Stance Swap.
The wind waits for none.
Doesn't feel like it does enough, though. Alright, let's pass. Interesting. Goes +2 attack. Now out of mana, so we can come in and give our Udyr +2 health. Give his Kennen -2 attack. Now if he wants to keep his Kennen, he's going to have to put the Mark of the Storms onto the Vulpine Wanderer. And then our Udyr is going to be protected. Yep. So the downside now is he gets a lot of like raw power out of this. I think we still have to try and get Cytherea on board. At least the bonus to adding Cytherea now is that it's pretty tough to deal with both her and Udyr. Ooh. Interesting. Little to big. Here we go. Do we want to preemptively shrink Kennen? I think that's probably reasonable as well. So now his Kennen can't block our fearsomes. Stun onto Udyr, you got it. Lethal still comes through. Masterclass in playing Nudyr. Suck it, Master PP.
The gods have spoken.
If you're new to the channel, you can go and visit www.ftpbust.com. Find out the rankings for the #1 best player in the world at Legends of Runeterra. According to ftpbust.com, that best player in the world is FTP Bust. And so, you know, who am I to argue with that website? I don't know where you get your rankings from. I know where I get mine from, though. Fake News Ronnie probably also gets his from ftpbust.com. Oh, man. These are the games I like. Let's just pass it back and forth for a few turns, not do anything. Give me a little opportunity to get that Targon's Peak down. Watch this, I'm gonna pass. Bit of damage comes in, that's okay. We'll just load it up. Load the hand up with these expensives. Now here, I don't want the Scourge. I want something that has a bit of sustainability to it, so it's either the Immortal Fire or the Destroyer. And we'll just go with the Immortal Fire. It can punch through these boards a little bit easier. If opponents like LOL, here's Nasus, then we can still attack in for damage to where the Overwhelm may not be able to do it. All right. Load your hand up with those Vile Feasts, my dude. Stacks and stacks and stacks of Vile Feasts. That's what you want when your opponent's about to play Mount Targon. Look how premium this is, man. Look at that. Have y'all admired? Look at that. It's got that shiny shit in the middle now. It's all flashy because it's prismatic. I love it. I love it. That's what the controversy in the game should be. Is Riot ever going to release a different card style other than prismatic? Especially in the face of me having all of these prismatic cards. What if they make a new card style that's way cooler than this one? I don't know what I'd do, man. I'd probably just buy that shit too. Alright, this is going pretty well, I would say. We're just going to start spewing everything out of our hand as fast as we can now. So. What'd we hit? Hit the stun? That wasn't ideal. It'd be cool if we got the Sunburst. He's already played 2 Glimpse from Beyond, so it should be fairly challenging for him to sacrifice off the Undying. Yeah, unless he wants to do something like Hate Spike. That's acceptable. Uh-oh. Spell Shield's not what I want to see. Oh, we sacrificed off the Husk. That's cool. I don't think we can play the Celestial Wonder this turn. It is unfortunate, but he's going to have a really strong open attack now, and we have to be able to get out in front and interact with this a little bit. Really unfortunate to hit the Celestial Wonder twice, but you all know how the saying goes. It is what it is. Ain't no changing that now. All right, now we're to the point to where we can get some big shit popping. Maybe we won't hit anything else cheap the rest of the way. I'm ready to get our big boys on board. That's what we're here for. There you go. Get those Vile Feasts out of your hand. Ravenous Butcher is a pretty good target for Mount Targon. Reduce that 0 to 0. I feel you, dog. F. This could have most certainly gone better. As they say with the RNG ramp, sometimes the RNG is not in your favor. How big are you, Nasus? That's pretty big. Here's why I wanted the Immortal Fire. It can still attack around Nasus. This game's probably lost. We hit extremely poorly in terms of our Mount Targon and could just never add anything to the board. And that's what happens sometimes when you play the Mount Targon deck. You know, get used to it. If you wanna get out here and battle with this thing, it's just something you have to get used to. We're still in it. We can definitely get an Aurelion Soul flip. We have a great block for Nasus next turn with our Immortal Fire. And so we have some options for the game. Just ideally, you don't go through turn 6 and turn 7 hitting a 5-cost spell, and then on turn 8 you hit your 8-cost spell. Just, you know, shrug it and move on.
They will never die because I
What happens if he silences Olani? She's actually physically a 7/7, right? That would make sense, I guess. Feels like Brodio's over here just trying to set up this atrocity. I'm pretty confident that's what's happening in this game. He's just sitting here doing finger math, trying to figure out how to pull off the atrocity. Okay. Alright, well, let's see what happens next turn. We'll pop that spell shield. Maybe we'll draw something cool, who knows? Maybe we'll say, what up, it's your supernova. So She Who Wanders is not doing the work today. Just drop it, dude. Drop it. So risky. So risky to drop it right here. You're not at risk at losing. And what happens in this game if I have a heal spell in hand and you just say, "Oh fuck, I just lost my Nasus"? I mean, yeah, you got the win, but that is a sketchy space to be dropping it. Master PP, I hope you watch the video and learn. That is not the spot to be doing it. All right, though. Game 3 up against Easy Kennen. I'm ready. All right, none of these are Targon's Peaks. None of them were Catalyst to the Aeons. So you can go a long way against Ezreal Kennen without putting units on the board. And that really slows down their ability to spit off the Kennen Sparks, whatever that dumb thing is called, and really helps slow down leveling up their Ezreal. Okay. Got it. All right, so if you want to do some mathematics, as we go into next turn, we want to bank 2 mana so that we can, or have a total of 2 mana banked so that we can play Voices of the Old Ones. This is just a fantastic place to drop an Avalanche, though. It curves out quite nicely. Still play the Voices next turn. Sure. You may not want to, though. It is nice to get the double ramp, but he's trying to do the aggro thing because that's what he has to do. He's playing the control deck, and he's not the control deck in this matchup, and so it's a little bit of a struggle for him. We could realistically look to drop a Blighted Ravine, and then next turn, I think that's the way we go. Then next turn we can play Voices of the Old Ones. And then that will put us in a spot to where on the following turn we can just play She Who Wanders. And then if everything goes wrong, we still have some options to slow them down. So he probably just lets this die, right? He might does he have a Kennen in his hand still? I wasn't paying attention. He may actually need to protect this Kennen. You can Homecoming away Blighted Ravines, right? Homecoming does hit landmarks, but none of this sounds particularly positive.
We each hold a world within.
Alright, what you got? Shadow Assassin? Okay. If you want to pass, we'll pass. It's fine. He has to be doing something. Here comes the attack. Okay. There's a nice collection of expensive bros to add to the old hand. Ezreal. 0 targets. What a joke you are, Ezreal. 0 target, Ezreal. Oh, man. I hope you got a deny. We're going to do this next turn as well. FYI. That's the game plan. Alright, Master PP. You now have a unit to target.
It's too late for you.
I am lightning. I break the wind.
Okay. Tasty Feyfolk. Was not expecting that one to turn up. Interesting. Do they usually play this thing? Or is this, like... You have to just already be good against the aggro matchups, right? Well, you get murdered by pirates, but... I don't feel like you ever want to be like, yeah, I got to get better against pirates. I think you just say, the pirates matchup fucking sucks, and I don't want to play against it ever.
Wind and thunder.
I don't miss.
I am prepared.
Alright, so he gets a bunch of stuff in hand. We're going to have to try and prevent some of this damage. So looks like we're taking 4 here. And then if he has a deny, we can still follow up with Star Shapings. And he is at 20, but we do get to block his biggest unit with She Who Wanders, and it helps that his biggest unit has the lifesteal, so we're getting to kind of punch that out of the way as well. Just try to get him to play something, you know. We'll drop the Avalanche here. Still planning on dropping She Who Wanders next turn, but taking a 3 bank into next turn's fine. I mean, I could see an argument for going ahead and trying to drop the Tavern Keeper. We're just, like, never going to block with it. But... maybe that's the way to go. Is we play the Tavern Keeper here. Next turn we play She Who Wanders, and then we can look to... we can look to still have Star Shaping in hand for the following turn. Okay. I think that works out. This is what I've gotten used to, dropping Get Exciteds on our face. I played so much of this dumb deck through the past week. I just got so used to immediately putting immediately putting the heal directly on our face. So strange for it to not exactly play out like I want. Just get excited. Right to the nugget. All right, so we aren't completely out of the woods here, right? He could have another deny for this. I think if he had a deny, he would have just snapped it off. But the thing that's kind of scary there is he can have another Ezreal in his hand. And if Ezreal's in hand, then it's a Mystic Shot, and then the She Who Wanders doesn't stop, doesn't exile the unit. And so Ezreal should have been far enough from flipping to where he wasn't ultra scary. But that game was certainly losable, even if the She Who Wanders popped. All right. So interesting, interesting. We're never banning this Evelyn, right? Given the way that our strategy is set up, we want to be banning pirates. We did say that Poppy Tarek was our next ban after pirates, but I suspect that the Blade Dance deck is going to be exceptionally bad for us. That's a very pirates-esque matchup, and it's going to cause a lot of problems for our Targon's Peak deck. And so I think I'm okay-ish with doing battle with Poppy Tarek and just taking the Blade Dance out. Okay. Let's get some of this hot Nudyr action out here. Everybody playing the rallies today. All right, reasonable start. We hit this 2-drop and 2-drop plus the Troll Chant. That's all you can really ask for with these decks. So hopefully we get a nice early game board advantage with our 2-for-1 on the Troll Chant. All right, Broadwing Part 2. Get a free hook into Esmith. Probably won't be playing a Troll Chant this turn, but we'll see.
I've got your back.
It's kind of fucked up, dude. Kinda fucked up. Let's go with the Ibex version. Okay. Gotten used to playing the Fated guy.
I just know the hero's around here somewhere.
This land is ours.
We could take down Poppy here. This is the big thing with Troll Chants in this deck. We can give the formidable unit the bonus health and then slam it into Poppy with a 5 formidable hit.
We got this.
I'll take everything.
Okay.
Our eyes lead to hidden paths.
Excellent. Let's see. Let's go ahead and make this really good Broadwing. This should stop him from doing shit like playing Tarek this turn. And it lets us still continue on with a pretty good aggressive round. This is the kind of space to where we're going to have to start playing like a Ranger's Resolve in the middle of combat. I don't think we'll get a better Ranger's Resolve after this turn. And so that landed. Interesting. I'm curious if he was like thinking if he wanted to play a concerted strike. Huh. Maybe we don't Ranger's Resolve. Let's wait and see if he has another card. Right, it's not actually going to protect our little Broadwing. Prevents a point of damage on the big Broadwing, but it's about to heal up to 5 after the combat anyways.
Who does not know the name Laurent?
Okay. Seems like a good turn. Seems like a good game.
One foot in front of the other.
Oh, I thought Gnar was lit up, and I was like, yeah, don't mind if I do. Don't mind if I slam down a little Gnar this turn. He wasn't ready to flip, though.
No time to rest.
Looking to just build up a double Cythria turn.
Hardly fair.
Follow my lead.
Stand for what's right.
Interesting. Where's that concerted strike at? Not yet? Okay. All right, dude. Still looking to go for double Cytheria to spread the fearsomes out. He has to play like a Mountain Sojourners or a Taric to even be able to block, or he could play a combat trick, sure, but pretty tough for him to deal with. Definitely a little bit more high powered than dropping an All-Seer. Oh man, I had to interact with the human today. As you can see, I'm wearing a Thundering Herd shirt. This is a Marshall Thundering Herd, the greatest college in the world. Not just America, not just West Virginia, the greatest college in the world. I went there, and so I can speak to its greatness. And played Notre Dame in football last week. They were ranked like 6th or 8th or so in the nation. Marshall, unranked as usual, and pulled down the victory. I run into Notre Dame fans out here in Kansas City, and they are not pleased. They were not happy with the outcome of the game. It's a random old man at the grocery store today. Random old man was not pleased with the outcome of the game. That's the thing, man. Like, I don't follow Marshall anymore. Like, there is a thing as you get older, and even as you're younger, it's an important concept to have, as to where you just say, that is not a priority to me, right? In terms of the importance of something. It's not that you don't want to do something. It's not that you don't think it's fun. It's just you have to do like a cost-benefit analysis with the amount of time that you have, and you'll have to start saying, that is not a priority to me, and cut some things out of your life. And that's just what's happened with Marshall football. I used to really follow Marshall football at all the opportunities, but now that I don't live in West Virginia anymore, and my Marshall friends aren't out here, it's just too tough to follow and care about, especially since I don't have cable and I can't see the games on TV and stuff. And so I just have to say, I'd love to watch Marshall more. I didn't get to follow along too hard, but no, it's just not a priority to me anymore. Got to focus on my plants and my cats and the Chiefs. I got to start taking pictures of my plants. I think I'll get that up soon. I always just call it my hydro because it sounds like you're growing weed, and I think that's funny. And it is technically hydroponic growing, but I had one of those little arrow garden things. And I had a few rounds of it. I was fairly happy with it, but I wanted to do a little bit more. And so I have a bucket set up for one, to where I was trying to grow peppers in the arrow garden, and it just kind of ran out of space. And so that gave me a chance to kind of like reset the arrow garden to have herbs in it again. And then I've got the peppers hopefully not dying. I think they survived the transplant, but they're growing in a bucket now. And then I put together a wick system to try and grow lettuce in. And it's been going on for just under a week. So I'm hoping to snap some progress pics or whatnot here in the upcoming weeks. Maybe we'll be growing some sweet lettuces and stuff. This is what you do when you get old. You gotta you gotta find a hobby. And so you say, my thing, I would get really upset. I like to cook, and if you want to say put like fresh herbs in your food, if you want to put like basil in it or something, you have to go to the grocery and spend like $5 or $6 on like either a fucking plant or just like sprigs of basil, and it just feels like a fucking scam. And so my solution, instead of going to the grocery store and spending $5 on a thing of basil, is to just spend like $100, $200 on a hobby. And why not cheapen things up by just spending a bunch of money on the hydro system instead of just buying it at the grocery store? But it's coming together. It's been fun. I've been pleased. Okay, so next match. Opponent rage quit against Nudyr. That's LOL if you ask me. And now, moving on to the next one. And so, I don't think that Kai'Sa matchup was bad as it was, right? We did get fairly nuked by Kai'Sa, but I feel like these days having the turn 5 flipped Kaisa is a bit of a high roll with the various nerfs that have gone around and things that are happening. I don't feel like that's going to happen with as much frequency, and I think we can deal with the Kaisa. I do worry like a little bit more about the Sejuani deck, especially as we're playing stuff like Aurelion Soul, and we get this really sweet board of like a 10-10 Aurelion Soul, a 10-10 Zoe, and a She Who Wanders, and opponent's like, cool, here's a warning shot. I'm gonna frostbite your team, and so I think the Sejuani is the one that's more realistically removable, and I don't think we ever ban the Teemo deck. The Traps deck seems like something that we should be reasonably suited to deal with. So up against Traps, right, we have 6 early game challengers to try and take down a Teemo. Hopefully that's enough. Which of these do we want to keep? I want to keep like one spell. I think we keep the Ranger's Resolve. Not envisioning enough scenarios to where the Troll Chant gets used for 2 cards. Here's a space to where the Ranger's Resolve can be good, right? You want to be able to go 2-drop into 2-drop into Troll Chant, but if you play a card on 1, then you don't have the mana on turn 3 to pull off the Troll Chant. That's where the 1-mana Ranger's Resolve can be exceptionally useful. But this isn't coming together like that's going to matter. We're just going to have so many units to put on the board. We'll go Broadwing into Tracker into Ruthless Raider. We'll have 2 challengers for Teemo. I guess there is an argument to not go that hard, right? If we try and take down Teemo and then opponent has a Mystic Shot, that could be a problem. So let's see how they spend their mana. And then it's not, I guess, it's not the end of the world if he does have the Mystic Shot, right? We should still have another turn to try and take Teemo down. We have the Troll Chant to just nag his attack so that he can't get the big Puff Cap hit in. So let's be real. That just kind of reeks of Mystic Shot here. Hang on. That's backwards. I wanted to put the Broadwing on Teemo and then still give up our unit. So if he does Mystic Shot the Broadwing, we still get to take the Teemo down. There we go. Whew. Figured it out.
Coming through! Solving crimes!
Are you one of those people out there that just sits there and says rotations are stupid? Riot can edit any card in the game, and they should just be able to edit cards instead of making rotations. Tell me when Justice Rider has ever been relevant. This card got upgraded to being a 3/5 because it wasn't being played enough, and it still seems absolutely fuck all play. Is Riot supposed to go in and like boost every single fucking card that is just pure garbage and say, "Whoa, here you go, we're balancing all the cards because you think rotations are dumb"? Fucking come on, dude. Come on. Rotations are dumb.
Where's my hammer?
Get salty out here real quick. I'm glad we got to see this Justice Rider turn up, just so I could bring maximum salt to the game. Oh, you just balance all the cards. Just go and fucking tweak 600 cards all at once, because that makes sense. Ugh. Come on, Bust. Just tweaks all 600 of them. Insane. All right, are we going to let this happen? I was sitting here thinking, it's like, do we want to actually Troll Chant our Broadwing to take down the Justice Rider? But I don't think that's going to be the case. We'll let the Mystic Shot hit. I'm looking to go back and put the... We should have put the stance onto the Broadwing before combat, maybe. No, we still would have been short in damage. Okay. All right, we can do cool stuff like this. Bust, I want to get my Justice Rider deck together. If Riot just went and balanced 700 cards. I can tell At least one person just turned the video off because that one hit home way too hard. This guy's way too fucking right. I'm getting out of here.
Then young fox, lead us to their heart.
All right. Well, I think we're going to achieve victory against the Teemo deck here. We'll see. There's no guarantees that the Udyr gets to hit on this turn, and then, you know, things get a little sketchy if he doesn't. Things just got a lot better with Cithria, though.
You dropped something.
I dropped everything.
Okay, so bring in the squad. We're going to hook his 3-power unit out to the right. We can come back in with a troll chant after the fact if we need to, but there should be enough damages to end the game. Alright, from neg 21 to neg 17. It was enough, I was right. Good job, Nudyr.
The gods have spoken.
The gods have spoken. It's time for Aurelian Soul. I think that's a great example. At what point, if we're shooting for every card to be constructed relevant, what changes do we have to make to a card like Justice Rider for it to make its way into constructed? Does it need to be cut down to a 3/4 for 3 with that ability, just so it's not pure garbage and it has relevant stat lines? Or does it have to stay at 4 mana? At what point we make it like a 4/7 or a 4/8 just to be relevant enough for constructed? Fucking insane. Come on. Justice Rider. It's insane. Oh, I want to play Vanguard Lookout. It's already gotten buffed once. Making it an elite wasn't enough. Let's make it a 2/4. But man, don't these changes have wide-ranging effects across the game? Fuck, Riot's professionals. They should just balance everything. What a fucking joke. Go back to middle school, dude. All right. Here we go. A lot of times, I don't like playing this Faces of the Old Ones on turn 2. I was getting on a bit of a rant here, and so I was just kind of going on autopilot. I oftentimes like just banking on turn 2 and then playing the Faces on turn 3, so it's a little bit less at risk. But, again, like I don't think we're really struggling here against the Teemo deck. He hasn't done too much to harm us. We're about to start dropping the Targon's Peaks, and this should be a deck full of, like, 1- and 2-cost cards. And so it may take us a few turns to get rolling with these peaks, but I think we're definitely safe for now. I mean, he hasn't played Teemo yet. And we have the opportunity to hit some big cards quickly between the Star Shaping and the Voices. I'm just going to go into full damage prevent mode. And so if he attacked with both units, I would block with both units. I don't care how we get there. We just have to be defensive at this point. This is tough. I really want to play Voices of the Old Ones so we can try and draw some expensive stuff, but I think the double AoE here is just too strong. Maybe not now. Talk about getting shut down by a Justice Rider. Oh, man. And the other thing with the Voices is he is playing the Puff Caps deck, right? If we want to pick a time to come out and draw 5 cards, we probably want to do it before he's loaded up our deck with Puff Caps. Not a bad hit here.
Intel looks good. Affirmative. Ready to breach.
All right, then we hit She Who Wanders. That should be pretty close to just ending the game. They're not going to have any way to counterspell the Bale Strike, whatever this is called, Bale Sight.
I've memorized all
So,
the rules.
boom. He's got a Most Wanted and 2 more cards in hand. All right, I think we're good. Throw a little salt on that one. I was just thinking to myself, is there ever a world to where we want to blow up our Targon's Peak so that he can't get his bigger plays on board? I don't think so. Let's at least go big in hand now. Pick up the Great Beyond, that's fine. A drop of Blighted Ravine just to get it out of our hand. I think we're looking better. Alright, gonna play Great Beyond first. Gives us a chance to potentially kill a unit with its stairs. And then since on the previous turn we obliterated all the units out of his hand, there's going to be a pretty good chance he doesn't have any more plays here now. I guess he could play like Most Wanted or something to try and pick up some additional units, but that's just going to be too slow and he'll die in the progress. Okay. Here comes the fun squad. All right, 21 coming at you. GG. Let's make our way to that final battle. We have risen supreme. We may have get excited ourselves for the loss, but it wasn't enough to stop us from getting here to the end. And this is more along the lines of the lineup I was kind of expecting as we jumped into these games against Trundle Timelines, Viego, Evelyn, and then the Nora deck. And here, I'm leaning towards just taking out the Timelines deck. I don't worry so much about Evelyn Viego, right? This isn't the Viego deck that has the counter spells in it. And so I think we're okay there. It's just like we have to stop and say, okay, if we have to play Nudyr against all of these decks, which is the one we want to play Nudyr against the least? Because I'm fine taking our other two against any of these. And I think we want Nudyr the least up against the Timelines. Maybe we would actually prefer to play, or prefer to van out one of these Shadow Isles decks with it. I think we're tuned with it to handle the summons, right? We are playing the Cythrias as a direct response to that deck. Let's just come out and ban Viego. In with Nudyr. Oof. Alright, Fam Jam, let's get in here. So what do we got? Not a great start. Gonna have to take a big mulligan. We need to find our early game aggression. Does he have it? Does he have the turn one? Nope. Oof. That's the thing I wish Riot would come out and tell us. What does this dumb deck's win rate look like when it doesn't draw its namesake card on the first turn? Alright, but we're definitely ready for combats here. We have both the Troll Chant and the Inner Beast. We want to be getting involved here. Not okay with that. Go with the Inner Beast. We still survive the Mystic Shot and get to deal an extra point of damage. Why wouldn't he play this first, just for the value? Right? He played a... he didn't want to overbank his mana. I guess that makes sense.
Elf, that's not ours.
So, what are we doing next turn? Like, we're 100% going to play Udyr next turn. We're going to 100% play a stance. Do we want to have Troll Chant mana for that turn? I think we do. So I'm just going to go ahead and play the Broadwing. I'm not going to deal with either of our birds. And then we'll look to play Udyr stance swap. I think putting a stance onto the bird The plus health regenerate stance into the Broadwing should be exceptionally challenging for this deck to deal with. You don't play a ton of removal within the Timelines deck, and now we have this really dope Troll Chant into Trundle.
Magic's guide us.
The winter's claw.
He's gonna block, so I'm gonna wait on the Troll Chant, see if we can't pick and choose where things need to go. So we'll give +2 to our bird, -2 to the guy trying to kill Udyr. Just fucking smoke him. Put it in your pipe, bro. Roll it up. That's kind of lame. That's still a pretty good turn, though, right? I hope it's enough. I thought that we were going to get like really far ahead there if Udyr was still on the board. It's a little scarier with him gone, but oh man, I was getting excited.
It's an awesome day for progress.
So here's the other clever thing we can do with this. We have a stance swap in hand. We're going to AoE. He just added a 1 health unit. Does he pick up the health on his guy? He does. I was like, oh my gosh, if we get to smoke his board and flip our Gnar, this is going to be sick. But we don't get the entire set of plays, but we're looking pretty good here. Also worth noting, we have the Cataclysm and we'll have the overwhelming Gnar on board next turn. And so even if we don't get the lethal in combat right here, which I think we're a little short on, we have the potential to Cataclysm overwhelm into a unit. Nudyr. Nobody gives it any respect, man. I don't want to either, but they've made us play Nudyr literally every single match for the past 2 gauntlets, and it's won the whole way through, man. No respect. All right, let's get in here with our last one. Okay, so we hit some ramp in here, but it's not like the good ramp, and so well, I think I'm still fine to just hang on to the 2, both the voices and the faces, because they don't have a lot of ways to just come down and kill the faces. Now we hit Targon's Peak because we are professionals. That's what a professional does. Right, he's got the timelines not until turn 2. I feel your struggle. All right, we'll slow play the faces. If he has to if he has to beam, it's gonna take all of his mana for this turn. No beam, no 2-drop. Nice. So we're 1 turn away from getting the Targon's Peak down. Gonna just go ahead and sunburst this unit to get it off of the board. Should be able to kill it. The way life goes, sometimes he might hit a big crocodile or something, but say we should be able to get his unit here. So you do get the equipment back, but the guy's gone. That was the scary part there. And he did Aftershock us earlier, so there is a chance that they play more Aftershocks. I don't even remember how many we're playing. Look at that. All the Aftershocks. That's okay, though. If he's not adding units to the board, he's not really doing a whole lot. Revna on the scarier end of the spectrum. She ultimately worries me in that when we play She Who Wanders, it gives him opportunities for units in hand that can dodge the Obliterate. Okay. Ah, god damn it. I was so excited. We just built up the mana to feel the rush, and it's going to get discarded. Like, do we want to go ahead and play the faces? I don't think that's ever right. Maybe he'll put enough stuff on the board to where we want to immediately block. Prevent 5. Okay. Yeah, he's got multiple ways around the She Who Wanders now. It's pretty scary. Would have been nice to have the 12 mana on this turn, but I just think we have to end up blocking. Still want to drop her, though. It is going to take the heal out of our hand, but this should smoke every unit out of his hand, right? Which it looks like it did. Cut him down to 3 cards. Now I feel a bit safer. Even more options now. We just picked up the Feel the Rush. We can drop it next turn. We have the 2 mana banked up. I'm looking to just AoE out his board, though. I think we should be safe enough. Like, even if he opens and we have to Celestial Wonder into Avalanche or something, I think that's fine. I don't think we're going to have the time to drop Feel the Rush, but we'll see. Oh, are we just dead? Looks like it. Damn. So close. I wonder if we should have known that the Targon's Peak was going to fail when he played his first Aftershock. That would have been an interesting spot to know. If he's just like so dead set on breaking the ramp that he's willing to Aftershock early, as opposed to holding on to the Aftershock against the Targon's Peak deck, because you don't know, right? It's going to feel pretty terrible if you hold the Aftershock and then the Targon's Peak never happens, and you gave up on the opportunity to stop our ramp a little bit. And so that's a tough one to read into. But we got the turn 4 Peak for this game. Pretty cool if you ask me.
Joy is a good look in a book and a cat in the lap.
I'll sometimes, I still haven't decided how I feel about this. Passing on that attack, you just assume your opponent's going to attack all the time. But this is a pretty low value attack from our opponent. And we are fucked if we don't get the ramp on the previous turn. And so, I'm not entirely certain how I feel about that, but I know it's definitely dangerous. This is definitely dangerous as well. Watch this shit. LOL. It's not like a definite game winner against this deck, right? Most of the time when you pop an Ithid Stairs against this thing, it usually doesn't even take any cards out of their hand. It looks like he lost 1 card here. And so, I mean, it's definitely not a game ender. It is just nice in the sense that you get to take down both their Heimerdingers and their Noras. Okay. I want to get these spells out of our hand. I want to get closer to the Feel the Rush and the Aurelian Soul. I don't really care about him getting extra portals in his deck at this point. I want to just cut down the number of cards we have. There we go. Yeah, make some KDA noises. Feels good. So it's like, do we ever go for a win here? I don't super like it. I'd prefer to just save these Celestial Wonders for next turn and then maybe shut down a big width attack, right? I I don't feel like we're in the spot to where we just have to go for it right now. We would have gotten pretty reasonably denied there.
Portal me something cool.
Okay, still want to get these spells out if we can. Nice little protection for Aurelian Soul. If we Sunburst and miss on the Feel the Rush next turn, I don't think this is worth. Well, let's make sure we have the mana for it. Didn't need it. All right. So GG's. Good job, Team Freylord, carrying us to victory. Nudyr doing the majority of the work, but the other decks pulling in some victories as well. And it felt good, you know. This is a slightly memey lineup when we're out here saying, LOL, let's play all of the Freylord. But I do like the idea of both the Timelines deck. It's so good against a lot of the mid-rangey decks while still having a lot of play against the slower ones, especially playing the version here with the three Aloof Travelers, along with the Aurelian Soul ramp deck. I know that the ramp deck is kind of a meme, but it has a lot of really good matchups once you take Pirates out of the equation. And so I'm kind of curious, though, in this kind of space, if we say play Scouts, and then the Aurelian Soul deck and Trundle Caitlyn, with the idea that our opponent is either going to ban our Scouts deck or they're going to ban our Trundle Caitlyn, and then we're going to look to ban Pirates, and then you still have the opportunity to either play good matchups into Scouts, right? Scouts does not want to play against Trundle Timelines, or they have to play the mirror match, and so I think there is like potentially something there. The idea being, let's play a good matchup, right? If we're going to bring Trundle Caitlyn, bring Aurelian Soul, and then bring a deck that is good against Scouts, is what I'm kind of getting at there. I think there might be something idealistically like that, and that's kind of what we're doing, but we're like memeing it up with Nudyr here and accepting that this is not the ideal Demacia-based rally deck. But I do think that the Aurelian Soul deck has a place in the format, especially as people, for whatever reason, don't feel like playing Pirates. Or I shouldn't say don't feel like playing Pirates, I should say don't feel like playing Misfortune. But I think that that's probably a pretty realistically strong angle. I've been pretty happy with the Aurelian Soul deck. This is what we took to Masters. It is weak against Pirates, right? If you want to see like Scouts over here at a 30% win rate, Puppy Tarek at a 30% win rate, Pirates at a 37% win rate, these are all terrible matchups, right? But as the format plays a lot of these like slower style decks like Nora, it just has a really, really strong matchup line when you're like, oh, cool, I'm going to play a ton of value cards. And I'll say, oh, cool, I'm going to play 30 mana worth of cards by turn 7, right? And so I think that it's a deck that definitely deserves a bit of acceptance into the best of 3 world. But not a bad day. We hit our prime glory in the previous one. This one we probably deserve something for, since we got 5 realistic wins instead of just 4, right? You know, if you're going to get excited your own face and lose a match like that, then that should count as a win as well. And so I was pretty happy with Team Freylord. I hope you were happy with them too. You maybe enjoyed the video, because that is going to do it for us today. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. You maybe learned how to climb the mountains to the best of your abilities. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.